Hello, my name is Cole James Anderson. You may know me as the technical director of Late Night Boomin. I had a small screen bit in season 1. You probably don't. Anyways, this is Daylight Boomin, the official Late Night Boomin podcast, and I'd love to welcome you all to the very first episode. Today we are joined by Jack Unruh, the host, Min, a long-time camera operator for the show, probably one of the most important people behind the crew other than me. And then obviously we have Eddie Unruh, who honestly keeps the show running. He keeps it. He's the glue.
I attempt.
You do good enough. So yeah, this is that's it. Have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night, everyone. So Siege, tell me.
And
Yes.
do tell.
Yes.
What gave you the inspiration to start something like this? Because I mean, usually it's the host that rattles off the questions right away, but especially for this, at the end of season 2, deciding to start a podcast, what was your thought process here?
So, to be real, this was an idea that we've had for, at least I've had for a while, since the beginning of season 2, maybe a little bit before.
Sure.
And it's been a busy season, guys. We have had a lot going on. Not the same shooting schedule as season 1. You guys remember shooting season 1? There was a lot of breaks in between episodes.
Took us a year and a half.
That's right. And we've been cramming for this second season. It's been going by a lot faster, so we haven't had as much time. I figured, though, the podcast would be a good source for people to come back and hang out with us when we're not doing the show. Yeah.
Just when you thought you've had enough of us, you get to listen to us talk for
so you
an
can see
hour.
us more.
Yes.
all
right.
the time.
We're not just at the nighttime. We're at the daytime now, too.
Also, you can watch in the morning.
Yes, and you could if you'd like
Or,
to.
That's right.
4 a.m.
Yeah, for you.
It's called Daylight Boomin' because I felt like it was pretty obvious. We shoot the late night show in the evening.
Yes.
Late night. It makes sense. Daylight.
And
We
if
shoot it during the sun's still out.
The sun is still out.
and if I'm
so
not
kinda.
mistaken, your favorite holiday is daylight savings.
he
Sure.
has daylight savings posters.
That's
in his
right.
room.
Does it count? As a
Only
holiday?
one of the I like it when we lose an hour, but so you're gaining an hour.
You
and get
enjoy
to
being
sleep.
visited
Yeah.
by
I don't
Father
like
Time.
the other
Where you wake
daylight
up
savings.
earlier.
Yeah.
I
don't like the
agree.
other- yeah.
One of them's coming up soon. We got
Yeah.
the sleep in one coming up
I
soon.
can't wait for Father Time to come and
Father
bless
Time,
me.
Daddy Time.
Yep.
Daddy
Yep.
time.
Daddy Time.
Why did we introduce daylight savings? Like, what is
a good
that?
I
question.
think it was someone with Aretha Franklin, the
Aretha
inventor of the light bulb.
Yep. Yep.
You mean Alexander the Great? No, I'm just kidding.
Yep. It
You
was
mean, don't you
Alexander
mean
the Great.
Alexander Hamilton? I mean Nikolai Tesla. I mean
Tesla.
Edison.
You're so close.
Nope.
John Wilkes Booth.
Yep. John Wilkes Booth.
Yep.
Don't come to us.
John
for
Wayne
accurate
Gacy.
facts,
Yeah,
ladies and
blame
gentlemen.
it-
The inventor of
Eddie.
the light bulb.
Blame it on
This
Eddie.
is this is just gonna be unhinged. This
This
podcast.
kind of looks like John Wayne Gacy.
So what kind of action are we going to get up to on the podcast, Cjo? What does the outlook of the podcast look like? We going to bring people on?
So basically what we're gonna do, we're gonna have guests on all the time.
All the time.
Obviously, today we're starting with the freaking head. This is the body of LNB. Really, you can't operate without.
And this one's
You
the
take
crotch.
oh my gosh, you can't operate without a single member here. So we figured this was the best, starting group. But we want to have a co-host. We want to have Reed on. Obviously, we want
Yes.
to have some other acts that we've had on. Perhaps Travis Nye.
Oh.
Obviously, we want to have crew on.
Yeah.
Are you tired? Am I boring you, Jed?
No. We should probably tell everyone what we did
Oh,
today,
yeah, we had
though.
a
It's
long-
been a
let's
long,
fill 'em
long
in. Let's
day.
fill 'em in.
Oh my goodness, you guys. We just filmed 2 back-to-back video segments for our show coming up in 6 days.
Yep.
So we were out on the streets of downtown Sioux Falls for about 5 hours today.
Was it
and we just got back from that.
And we were making fools of ourselves the
I know,
entire
yes.
time.
Thank
Like I
Embarrassing.
It was
felt
an
the
em-
hot sweats.
Yeah.
It was an emotionally draining day.
Honestly, it's a good thing I wasn't part of the act.
And
I'll be very embarrassed.
it's one of those things where you go in with so like it's an Impractical Jokers-esque thing, and it's one of those things you go in with so much confidence, and it's like it's not until you're face to face with a random person that the pressure really kicks in, and and then on top of that you have the pressure that like you need to get the content because otherwise what's the point?
Yes.
Right.
You know, like if you're just going out and saying you're gonna do it, you're going out and then just not doing
it,
anything.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, you're not gonna get anything.
You got to commit to
worthwhile.
the bit. That's
Yeah.
like one of the biggest things probably. And it feels so weird in the moment, but then you're so glad you did it when you're like looking back at the footage and like editing and stuff because it's like you have to take it to that spot to get that content, you know?
Well, Jack, you've gotten really good at, doing it for the bit.
I've really
Content
lowered
harnessing.
my
Yeah.
self-respect bar.
You're
is what I-
really good at bringing in people's. Hey, come
Yeah,
follow us.
yeah.
And you had like a minute of like a pitch, like to get a follow.
Yeah.
But it,
We should tell them probably what the concept of the
Oh, yeah.
shoot was.
Yeah, so I mean, you may have. I mean, if you were at the show, you may have seen the segments already. But I mean, spoilers or not, it'll be out eventually. Whatever. Yes, the ideas for our segments were obviously the first one from the first episode was kind of a re-riff on something we did from season 1 where we would go out and ask random people, random civilians on the street. Jack and Reed would ask random questions that they gave to each other.
Yes.
Questions that you guys didn't know what they would say.
We didn't
Questions
know.
that are
didn't
weird
know,
and
yeah.
awkward.
And then if you couldn't ask the person, if you were too embarrassed to ask them, then you lose.
Right.
And we had actually done this for the very first show of Late Night Boomin' ever
In season
back
X.
at the college that Jack
season X
dropped
Season
out of.
X.
Oh,
Season
man.
0.
See,
Season
yes.
X, Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Boomin started at a college and it was pretty ragtag. We did 2 full shows there.
And somehow the second show got 1,000 times worse than the first show.
And we thought the first show went bad. Yeah. Like we were not
Yeah.
super
I'm
confident
surprised we
about it.
actually even decided to keep going after that second show.
You were
Yeah.
so embarrassed
But
of yourselves. Yeah, we gotta.
I
keep
remember
going.
the goal was to keep moving forward.
Yes.
But then
Because we had talked to the TV
Right.
network and they
Right.
said, yeah, we'd take the show. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then COVID hit, and then that was when we briefly tried making Shoreline, which was a
We tried to make a movie.
a
Yeah, we
feature that maybe someday you guys will get to see.
Maybe
Hashtag
some-
Shoreline.
Hashtag
Hashtag save
in
Shoreline.
theaters in 12 years.
It was and it was so ambitious, especially for the time. Like we were gonna literally drive 45 minutes
Every day.
Every
into the
day.
middle of the woods for this because it's
Yeah.
about 2 guys camping or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And
Our-
like 90% of the scenes took place in the middle of the night,
Yep.
so we've had to lug our crew.
Yep.
When COVID hit, we started doing a bunch of random projects.
Yeah.
And then,
It was like a couple short films, I think.
yeah,
That
bunch of
feature we
skits.
tried.
skits, yeah.
We did not get far into it.
Yeah.
Lego stop motion.
Went all the way back to
Spider
ours.
4 parody.
Cheese
That's
puffs.
right, yeah.
Yeah. It was a weird time for us. but then
Uncomfortable.
that
I was growing into my body yet.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're getting hair in places that you didn't think possible.
And it's
All right.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So then, what was it? How did we get started? You said let's try it again.
Let's do it again. Bigger and
Bigger,
better.
better.
Yes.
And somehow the pavilion was like, we're all in.
Yeah.
They loved it, which was amazing to see. We love that the pavilion has been behind us. Such a
Yeah.
out of nowhere,
it's a
strong supporter of the show.
and
Yeah.
such a staple of Sioux Falls
Yeah,
too.
and we wouldn't
Yes.
have been able to do anything without
Right.
them.
Yeah, so like people just like came and rallied around somehow and they're like, yeah, this could be cool. And so season 1 was kind of all about like showing the concept of what we wanted to do and like laying the framework for what we wanted to do and everything. And then season 2 now we've been just trying to improve on what we do. We're obviously,
Which it
still
definitely
working.
has.
Yeah. We've
Yeah.
got a long road ahead, got a lot of work to do, but I think we've just been
And
trying to improve in everything.
Things still always go wrong.
Always.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But we've even so this did happen in season 1. From the beginning of season 1 to the end of season 1, we made a lot of improvements, and we realized a lot of ways that we should run the show. In fact, fun fact for all of you, when we started season 1, we didn't shoot it like a proper TV show. We tried to run it like a play.
Yeah.
And we would just
It was crazy.
it was high stress, and it was not the way to do it. For a TV show especially, we felt really silly after
Tried to
a
get it
few
all in one
episodes.
take. Yeah.
Yeah, we felt really silly, and we switched it up, and we immediately started seeing an improvement in the quality.
And there's one show in particular that like it really exposed us, if that's the right word,
Yes.
where like we were trying to run like a play because it was a sketch
In
it
front
was,
of a live studio audience.
Yeah,
We were
and I
still
remember
pretty new to the whole live studio audience thing.
Yeah, because I mean it was a live studio audience, and we just had this thought like we need to nail this for the people that are here watching, and all in one go. Because I mean there's a lot of things happening, and there's the speaker that was supposed to play the phone ringing. But the speaker, but the speaker had automatically turned off like 3 minutes before the show probably, and no one checked it.
Yeah.
And so right when the show started, the phone's supposed to ring, and everyone's kind of just standing there. And I remember like you could hear a pin drop.
Oh, it's terrible.
And I was standing backstage watching the monitor, and I didn't even know what to do because we had never even once gone out and been like, okay, let's cut and reset to that point.
Yeah.
At that point, we had never done anything
Never.
like that.
It was unheard of. Unheard of for us to do that. And so then from that point on, we're like, okay, if we need to cut or we need to stop, like, let's film it like a TV show. People can come in and see it like a live studio audience. But then if we need to stop and do it again, like, let's do that because the folks at home. And so we embraced it. We fully embraced like the studio audience being part of the filming process. And it ended up working out.
Mitchell Olsen was the one who really convinced us to do that too.
Because he'd had so much showbiz experience and stuff, and he's like, we should do it this way. And so we did it, and then it was awesome. It ended up working so well that way because nowadays, I mean, heck, we start and stop every 5 minutes,
Yeah,
We
yeah,
make
it
so
certainly
many
feels like it
mistakes.
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
For the recent ones, of course.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's just it works better, and it's funny you talk about that, but only the people who would have been at the show even know about that.
It was
'Cause
our biggest show to date, though. I
was
think of
edited
every
out,
single
you
show
know.
we've ever had, that was the biggest
one is
show.
it?
That was the show we had the most people at ever.
Was it with Mayor Paul Wynn?
No, that was the one with Rebecca Swift.
Really?
So we had Mayor Paul, which we almost packed out, and then Rebecca Swift, which we pretty much packed out the place
Oh,
for.
really?
And then we botched that one.
Well, and to any
Really?
like
Yeah.
inspire,
I was there,
like
I was
You say
aspiring.
botched it, but like the episode's good. People enjoyed it.
Yeah, like
It's just
Somehow.
I mean, obviously there are mistakes that we made that we can't take back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to any like aspiring theater people or someone who wants to be like a host of something, like I think it's a great note of like how not to let it affect you. And I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, Jack, but I think it's good.
Throw me.
It's good insight.
Throw me.
I think it's good insight. I mean,
knockout right now.
I could watch him like slowly deteriorating and losing confidence
Throughout the night.
throughout the night. And by the last segment, I remember like he just wanted to be done.
There was a moment at the end of the night after the show, just seeing you and Zach sitting on that bench, just being like,
Yeah.
For
Yes.
Rebecca Swift?
yeah.
Yeah.
What?
It was a like
That was
she
not-
did great. Everyone did great, but it
Yeah.
was a bad show.
Yeah.
Like technologically, like from all of our sides of it, it was a bad show. And
What?
It was like stuff. It was like stuff with like a couple people were late, and we didn't end up
flustered.
Yeah, like it was just.
People weren't showing up on time, and we didn't get to rehearsal. We opened the
really?
doors like 5 minutes late. And then when the show started, we were all so flustered, and we thought it had to go perfectly, and then it didn't, and so that threw everything off, and people could tell. You can feel that. Whereas nowadays, I mean, if we make a joke or if we screw up right out of the gate, we just say, "Oh, well, screwed that one up. Good thing that's not for TV, right?" And
Yeah,
then people love it. Breaks the ice.
The weight's falling off
Yeah.
the shoulders.
They don't
And
care.
it's like they almost get a peek into the BTS of it and see how it all runs.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what we love about it.
But that
Just for
reminds me
TV.
of our show that we did. So the first show that we did when we were at the college, for the time went great. Like, all things considered, we had Sean Cable on as our guest. We had our own little ragtag crew. It went great. Our second show ever that we did there, was a nightmare. I remember we couldn't get to the audio board until like 5 minutes before the show. We opened the doors 15 minutes late, and then
Yep.
the video, we used to have to, in order to show a video, we used to have to drop a video whole projector screen down and then pull it back up. Like, it was insane.
Instead of just having it always there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that wasn't working. And I remember just looking over at C-Joe, and C-Joe was just like, he's like, just keep going.
I bet
And we
like
were
C-Joe was like, I don't know, man.
Yeah. He's like,
What was the video segment for that episode?
Was it the mall one, right?
I think. Yeah, I think it was street
was-
questions. the street
Okay, yeah.
ones.
So
oh,
it
it's
was
the street questions.
yeah.
I
Oh,
thought
okay.
that too, because so that's a reoccurring segment that
Yeah.
came from that show. So if there's a silver lining from that, the worst show we've ever put together, it's that we got an actual great, what I'd like to think is one of our better segments.
Maybe every worst show wasn't actually our worst show because we got something out of it.
We learned.
And that's a metaphor for life.
Real.
Yeah.
We're out here bringing knowledge.
Knowledge.
That's why you should watch the
Knowledge.
Daylight Boomin' podcast.
Want a
Yes.
Lamborghini?
Well, it's not the
Some
mistakes that you make; it's how you handle them that
That's right.
defines who you are.
That's right. And actually, you know what? This is a great opportunity. Jack,
BadaBoomCrew.com/shop.
Yeah,
We
get
we
us
are
some
gonna get to
merch.
that.
Shop.
Late Night Boomin' is a production of Bada Boom Studios, which was created by Jack Unruh. He's the
By all of us,
He's-
as a team.
yes, but
by
it's-
all of you.
All of
Yes.
you.
At home.
Jack. What'd
What'd you guys do? Nothing.
Jack, obviously, Late Night Boomin' is a family-friendly show.
Family friendly. Guffaws for all.
I was
Family friendly.
I was trying to be like genuine. That's like a cool, like, you know,
Host.
I
But
was
I've
gonna-
got an R-rated
what's
question.
Like, what's the mission of Bada Boom? Like, I feel like
Bada Boom.
from my standpoint, it's just to like bring happiness.
The vision
and-
statement.
Like,
Yeah.
what is Bada Boom?
What is
What is
Bada
Bada
Boom?
What's the
Boom?
What's it
why?
about?
What's
What's
the why?
Well, we have 3 goals to accomplish with Bada Boom Studios, and that is to uplift, motivate, and inspire. So every piece of content that we create, first and foremost, we want to uplift people. So it's something that you walk away from. It's not something that you can it's not something that you typically mindlessly watch and walk away the same. We want you to be uplifted when you watch our content.
In a joyful manner.
In a
It's-
joyful
we're
manner.
not trying to do Schindler's List.
necessarily.
No,
And then,
no.
secondly, is the motivation. Okay, so you once you're feeling uplifted, we want to motivate you to go out and do what it is that you set your mind to. And so every piece of content that we create, you know, it's so easy to get discouraged in this
Yeah.
world. It's so hard to do stuff. You know what I mean? It's just hard to do what you want to do, to create what you want to create. So part of what we want to do is create content that helps to motivate you and inspire you to keep going. That's why I think this podcast is such a great idea, because we can talk about the behind the scenes. Because sometimes we'll make video segments that look great, that, you know, can get some guffaws, but there's a lot of like struggle that goes into making them. You know what I mean? There's a
Yeah.
lot of like stuff. And so if we can share that, that's part of our goal too, is to motivate. And then of course, inspire. So biggest thing is like, schools aren't teaching kids to change the world anymore. But then, you know, schools aren't teaching kids to change the world anymore. Like, schools are teaching kids you can get a fine job, you can be okay, just blend in with the crowd and you'll be all right. But where's the people getting into a rocket and going into space? Where's the people?
We aren't doing that anymore.
We aren't doing that anymore.
No.
Why not?
We need more pushers.
Yes, we need more pioneers.
Yes.
The world needs ditch diggers too, but
Tell you.
So, uplift, motivate, and inspire.
I love it. I love it.
Yo.
Love to hear
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Well, this is a great opportunity. It's fresh on our minds. Let's talk about what we shot today.
Let's do it.
The other segment that we shot. Okay, so we talked about the street questions. Obviously, this is
Yep.
something we've done before. Awkward, weird. But the other thing that we did today.
was also awkward.
It was definitely awkward.
I would
More
say
awkward.
I'd say more awkward and
Yes.
weird.
And
Yeah,
embarrassed.
Definitely.
Yes.
Jack, why don't you take it away and explain it? 'Cause
Yeah,
I feel like
I think you came with this, right?
Yeah.
The concept is that we found a street intersection. Obviously, there's going to be 4 street corners at the intersection, and
And this is in downtown.
this
a lot
is
of foot
downtown.
traffic.
Yeah, like the hot spot of probably like the hottest spot in all of South Dakota, if we're
Yeah.
being honest.
Yeah.
And we had 4 people. We each took a street corner and had to do some sort of street performance. And so, like, there's a mime, there's a guitar player, there's a caricature artist, and there's a break dancer. And we each created an Instagram account, and whoever could get the most followers by the end of an hour wins.
Worst hours of my life.
It
It felt like a long time.
Well, then there's one point I asked Siege. I was like, how far in are we? Like, this has been so long, and he's like, we got about 40 minutes to go.
Yeah. It was brutal.
Yeah.
The people on the street just didn't.
No one was getting injured
No.
today. We really.
Okay, some people did.
Some people
Some
did.
people
and we
did.
did get those shots.
Some
but
people did, but we definitely felt the Midwest today.
Oh,
you know,
it's
you could
definitely
feel
Midwestern for
the
sure.
reservation in people.
Midwesterners, they're known for being reserved.
Yep.
Really reserved.
Yep.
They-
Which is fine.
They're not so exuberant, you know.
Not so much.
extroverted.
But
No.
it's
Not
it's
that
very
there's anything
it's,
wrong with that.
Of course
but-
not. Of course not. But it's cool to see. Like we had that guy come up, and he was breakdancing with you. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
yo,
Yeah.
But, like,
that was
he was
dope.
rapping with us. We had to bleep out a few words.
Yeah.
Bleep out beep 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 beep, and
Yeah.
you beep, and
We did have some characters, some colorful
Yeah,
characters.
character, but that's
Yeah.
what Late Night Boomin's all about.
Yes.
It's
But,
about
I
I
love.
mean,
everyone.
at one
Yeah.
point, just because we do live in a smaller Midwestern town.
Yeah.
Sioux Falls is not super big,
Mhm.
about 300,000.
I would say it's a perfect
At
town.
one point, like I could almost catch a vibe of the miniest scale of like those sidewalk talk New York like segments, you know, where people are just
Yeah.
out in New York and like the random things are happening. Like I hopped into the basket of this dude's bike and we were riding around while I was playing guitar. And
It
like,
was.
I
a
was surprised you
blast.
got that.
Yeah,
It
and-
was a blast, and the fact that you didn't fall out.
Yeah, I know. Actually, my tuchus fit perfectly into the netted metal
Web.
basket. Yes.
Yes.
It was crazy.
was
But I
wild.
think like we've definitely we don't care about embarrassment as much
No,
as we used
I
to.
feel like we've gotten past that.
We don't care at
You
all.
think
Like
so?
we're literally all about the content now.
Yeah.
Like there is a phase if you're a new filmmaker, if you're new to like trying to do something like where you're going out on the street or you're interacting with strangers or
Don't be
something.
embarrassed by it.
Yeah, there's a tendency to want to be embarrassed. Like, you know, sometimes you should be. Like, we should
Yeah.
be embarrassed
And-
every
and-
day. But
Especially
what
from
was
you,
most
Jack. You
embarrassing
did the
to me-
breakdancing.
yeah,
I understand that a lot of the stuff that I was saying, like the people that I was saying it to wouldn't find it funny. The stuff that's most embarrassing to me is when I say something that I'm trying to be funny to some random person, but I'm not being funny. Like I know for myself that it's not funny.
even
That's
for the
when-
viewers at home.
Yeah, like and that's
Oh,
when it
yeah.
comes. Like, there's like parts that we're gonna cut out of the video
Yep.
where I was going off on a bit that wasn't working, and that is when you really do feel the embarrassment. You're like,
You do,
what
but
am I
you
even
also
doing?
gotta throw
Like,
a bunch
I'm-
of crap at the wall to see what sticks.
That's
you know
right.
what I
That's a
mean?
good
Like,
point.
Yeah.
and in
See
that,
what's got the corn in it.
in that scenario, I mean, it's like there's no right way to do what we were doing. And there's no right way to stand on a street corner and play guitar with a sign on your back that says "Subscribe to peace and love for life." Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
sing songs that
Subscribe.
Well, and I look over and Reed was just dressed in a mime
Oh,
outfit.
dude. Yeah.
Like the commitment he
Yeah.
had just like throughout the whole, for an hour with no talk. Okay, he did talk.
He
for a
did
bit,
talk.
yeah.
but like,
He gave
He
it.
ended
lazy.
up talking. It was so funny. Yeah.
dude, the commitment he had just to play as a mime. Oh, dude.
It was so funny.
I was shocked. If you guys gotta go check out this segment, he did his own makeup, and it actually blew my mind.
It looked
It
really
looked
good.
really good.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, so
It
it
was
was
impressive.
a big day. But
Pictures of
now
that.
it's all about chasing the content. Like, and I think like even with the show itself and with obviously pre-recorded segments, but like with the show itself and pre-recorded segments, like we're thinking so far ahead of like what is this going to look like down the road? Because like right now we're sitting here. Everyone in downtown Sioux Falls is just doing their thing. You know, that's over what we did today. Now we're left with the content that we got from the day. So it's like in the moment, it's important to keep that in mind of like what we get now is what we've got to work with later.
Right.
Always keeping that later self in mind. So
Right.
go all out. Like the night you guys freaking made me drink spit on stage. Like,
Yeah.
there's times where
That was disturbing.
Dude, I like
I was
gagged a
gagging
lot.
editing it. Just editing it, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, you guys are editing it. That was so funny.
Eddie, do you remember this one time Caden like spit on the cup? Like it was really bad. And he was like eating something.
The loogie.
Yeah, it was a loogie.
Yeah, I think he had just gotten done eating a Reese's or an Oreo, something of voluptuous stature, and he spit
Oh,
it
dude,
into the
I
cup.
gagged while filming that. I was like,
And you get like it was like brown, and like after you eat chocolate, and your
Yeah.
spit is just
oh,
it has
It
almost
takes on. It's like Hershey's syrup spit.
yes,
Yeah.
and
Ugh.
that was what he had dropped into the cup.
But there was no way to not drink the cup in that moment.
You had to do
Had
it.
to.
And this season you've had your run-ins with drinking strange cups and liquids.
yeah, you drank breast milk.
Yeah.
The beginning of the season.
There's
This season has had everything.
Yeah.
Like
It's been a wild one. But there's times where you've got to do something for the bit. Like Eddie, I remember when we filmed a cheese puff video way back in the day. We were filming Stromboli's kitchen, and I handed the cup to him. I'm like, "Go ahead and drink it."
And give him a little more background about Stromboli's
we
kitchen.
filmed this video where it's just Eddie and I in the garage filming.
So me and Jack's roots and Siege, we
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
start. We
yeah,
started.
I wasn't in this particular video, but this is our roots
Yeah,
of
this
how
is
we
our
started
roots.
working
Yeah.
together with
Yeah.
the
So
cheese puffs.
me, Jack, and our boy Golden Ghost Ron
Golden Ghost around.
had started a YouTube channel when I was probably 8 years old, I think. And the strange thing is that the content we were making we had no thought of like making something trending. It was
Yeah.
like none of the content could really be fit into a box of
Yeah.
this.
It was
is what
entirely
it is.
just what you guys wanted to do.
Yeah.
Just the random crap you came up
And
with.
obviously, it's
Yeah.
it wouldn't work. But
Oh,
like for
yeah.
us, like creatively, like we needed it.
It was
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a good way to put it.
We'll throw a clip up there of Stromboli's.
We'll throw a clip, yeah. So there's this moment in Stromboli's where the whole video idea, I mean, we can tell you the story later about how this video came to be, which is so, I mean, it's not like some profound thing or anything, but the long story short is we didn't think we had a different filming plan for the day. We ended up filming this thing. We thought it sucked while we were filming it. It ended up being hilarious just because of how stupid it is. But there's a scene where we like mix all this random food together, and Eddie plays my like cooking assistant, and I hand him the jar and I say,
My
"Go
name
ahead."
is Alfredo.
I hand him a jar and I said, "Go ahead, take a sip." And Eddie, I could tell he knew in that moment that he was gonna end up taking a sip because you have to for the content.
Yeah.
But you could see the look on his face. He's like, "Sir," he's like, in his head, he's probably thinking like, "This is the last thing I want to do. Do not want to do this." But the camera's rolling and you have no choice.
Well, I mean, the video ended with me covering myself in our creation. Show a clip of that.
Yeah. Show. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. It takes me back.
It was
Takes me back.
disturbing.
Well,
I
it's-
wanted to work with you guys because of partly because of how unhinged you were.
Yes.
Because like that was the vibe I needed to meet on a creative level, was like someone who just didn't care what they were making and just wanted to make whatever they wanted to make.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you guys, even with the show, I feel like you do a healthy amount of that.
sometimes to a
healthy
fault.
amount of-
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
yeah.
in our writer's room, whenever we're coming up with a show outline, we always do at least one segment of show that we call the wild card segment.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the segment where we go back to our roots and we do what is unorthodox.
Whatever we want.
like
Yeah.
what for one example, like what is it? The tickle monster.
we.
When I was
Yeah.
in that
Yep.
writing room, I was like,
Yeah.
"Are you sure you
Yeah,
guys
so
want
we
to do it?"
we did this segment with Reed where he was the tickle. I think I came up
Yeah,
with
tell
this.
the
you came up
story.
with it, yeah.
I don't even know how I can, and it's so dumb. It's so stupid.
It was-
so
but it was
dumb.
so- it was so
and the idea is that Reed puts on a puppet mask that looks like a mix between like Sully from Monsters Inc. Anyways, that's besides the point. Reed puts on his puppet mask that makes him the tickle monster, and it was me, Jack, Min, and Isaiah, one of our writers. We had sat in these 4 chairs, blindfolded. The tickle monster goes around and tickles one person. If the person tries not to make a noise, and then we have to guess who's getting tickled.
Thank you so much. I'm the tickle monster. And I'm here to tickle you.
This is not looking good. We're already laughing.
It's a lawsuit waiting.
I'm sorry, lost. We already lost.
And I know this couldn't get any weirder, but here we are. Who should I tickle first?
We definitely
And the
do.
segment just like it was so bizarre because the game didn't really have much of a shtick to it. There wasn't much oomph
It didn't
behind
make
it.
a lot of sense. Like,
It
it took
didn't
a
make
lot
sense.
of
It was
explaining.
definitely
this
random.
close to pulling it the night of
Yeah.
rehearsal, like
Yeah.
3 days before the show. We were
Yeah.
like, do we even do this?
Yeah.
And then we decided, we're like, okay, we got 2 options: pull the trigger and just do it, or back out and do something else. And I think lately we've been developing the tactic of just pulling triggers and just like, yeah, this is what
Yeah.
we're doing.
Yeah.
However it happens, it happens. If it sucks,
Well,
it
and Reed
sucks.
also came up with a great way of concluding the segment, which brought
Yes.
a lot of energy to
Yes.
it. And
Exactly.
honestly, if you ask me, it kind of saved the segment.
It
This
did
man
save
got
the segment.
tased.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
sad.
Reed came out and tased me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worth it, though,
It was.
for the content.
But that is another thing too. Like I feel like for content creation is it takes the confidence of like you need to have the confidence in your what you're creating. Like
Mhm.
if you're gonna set out to do something, don't double guess it once you pull the trigger.
Real.
When you pull the trigger, it's like you're going all in and you swim or sink with it.
Because if you start double guessing, then you're gonna start making way more mistakes than
Yes.
if you weren't.
Yes.
And you're gonna not be checking for stuff.
Yes.
You're not gonna be in the right headspace to even be doing
Right.
it. You're not gonna do it as effectively.
Mm-hmm.
And piggybacking off that idea, if content creation, I'm sure a lot of you watching this like
Are
you guys
interested in doing
are
content.
content creators. If that's something that you really want to do, like you have these wild card segments, like kind of the base idea is pioneering. You know, like something that we at least attempt. It's our noble, very humble attempt of trying to do stuff that hasn't been done before. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way to get yourself out there. I mean, if you're gonna go into Walmart and mess around and do prank videos like 99% of other content creators on YouTube, you know, like it's a lot harder to get noticed.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, if you're looking to like make that statement, I think it's important just to keep in mind, like, try pushing the boundaries and try doing something that even to you sounds weird or strange.
Well,
And
yeah.
Go
take
ahead,
that
dude.
with a grain of rice, but that's my 2 cents.
Well, it's like honestly, like for content creation, like what makes your content literally you, like
Yeah,
Exactly,
yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Like-
got to be what you want.
But like obviously, like, a lot of people.
What you would watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like obviously, people would like copy, like for sure. Like I remember like watching this podcast on Colin Samir. They were doing interviewing with what was it? Emma Chamberlain. I forgot.
Oh yeah.
And I remember she saying it's like everybody copies like for their own thing, but everybody's copied for each like what type of content it is, but like the only difference is it is you.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's so true. And you have to you have passion for what you want to make. So I think it's always the worst when people there's nothing wrong with like taking a page from someone's book, right? Like there's nothing wrong with like, oh, like let's take this and let's adapt it a little bit. Let's do it our own way. But like straight up just doing your thing. And I think that also goes back to like understanding that pick something that you want to do and then live or die by it.
Yeah.
And know in your head that you're going to live or die by it. And that way, when you go into doing it, you're coming in at 100%. You're going to do it 100%. You're like, this is what's live or die. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But then you're going in at 100%. Whereas if you go in and you say, this might be okay, this might work, you're coming in at 50%. And the only way for that to go up is if it somehow starts going okay. But even then, most likely everything will go down. So come in at 100%, live or die by it, pull a trigger,
Be
and then fail
prepared, too.
quickly.
Be prepared.
Oh yeah, pre-productions. as
That
well.
is one of the biggest things we have learned
Mm.
is throughout all the years, and we're still and we still realize how much
Mm-hmm.
more important it is every day. Is you have to really be prepared.
Yes.
That's more than just technical stuff. Make sure you have your SD cards and batteries on set, which we have made that mistake more than
Oh,
enough
God, yeah.
times.
Yes.
But it's also like, yeah, be confident that your story is good,
Mm-hmm.
that what you're writing makes sense.
Yeah.
That it's
Always double down.
exactly.
Always.
Yeah. And you want to be 100%.
Yes.
Always want to be 100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
but sometimes when you're not, that's when the fun comes in. You know,
How so?
like if you're like Tickle Monster, I think is a great example. I don't think
That was pretty unique.
I don't think any of us were 100% certain it was gonna work, but I think we were 100% certain that we were gonna do it to the
Yes.
max.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You do not, you can be 50-50 on whether or not you think it's going to work or not. If
Heck,
you're
I think
above
we're
50, you're
20/80
fine.
for most every segment of any show.
Most of the time, our attitude is like, this probably will not work, but we're going to do it anyways. With taste.
With
You have to
taste.
do that with taste.
You have
can't
to
just...
put in the no matter how you feel about it, at least put in the effort when you're doing it.
Yes.
Like give it your all.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. But that's my 2 cents.
That's my 2
And
cents.
it's easier said than done. It takes a lot of trial and error, but there's nothing more satisfying than when something finally sticks. And
Yeah.
I mean, then you can say like that came from you.
And don't be afraid of failure.
Oh yeah. We're just starting to throw buzzwords at the screen right now.
It's true, though.
It is true.
Like, you should always be failing forward, as they say.
That's
Fail.
so smart.
Fail forward means that when you fail, you're still going forward.
Yeah, because you're using that knowledge to
Yes.
yeah.
To better your
to better
craft.
Exactly.
if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Min,
Yeah.
And Lou.
Man.
what's it been like joining the LNB team? Because
How'd you even get roped in the first place, man?
Yeah, let's talk
Oh,
about
yeah,
how you started with
I
us.
forgot. I totally forgot. I was just here the whole time. No, I'm just kidding. I was brought in for the camera team at Dakota State University. I remember Siege and Jack came to Madison,
Yep,
introduced their show, and pitched it to the whole club, well, which definitely joined the film club at DSU. Please, we definitely need members, even though I already graduated.
LSA. Or no, LSC. LCA.
LCA Film Club. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so they invited us to the show. We worked on a couple episodes.
Yep.
Right?
That was episode
Mayor Paul was there
4?
for
No,
this
no,
one. Yeah,
no.
show 4.
Show
Our
4?
first
Yeah.
show was Mayor Paul,
Yep.
which it was totally packed.
Yep.
To me,
Yeah.
it was.
It was.
I was like, holy shoot, like this is huge.
Yeah.
And I was like, when I first brought in, I was like the PA because I always wanted to do PA stuff like in production, and the amount of like what you guys like stress and high bar it is. I remember talking to one person, I forgot what's his name, but he was like a head PA kinda. So I always talking to him like rehearsing like okay, here's what we're gonna do, here's what we're gonna do this and stuff. I was like, this is like kind of like a huge production showbiz kinda to see what's it like. But yeah, after season 1, I'm pretty sure you got a huge break. So I literally don't know what, like, for the whole time, I was like, when's it gonna do season 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were all thinking that, man.
We didn't know when or if.
Like, I remember,
Same here with season 3.
Yeah.
I remember me and my friend Jason, we work on like a live streaming event. Fortunately, I saw Jack was there. I was like, Jack?
Yeah. We ran into each other at an event.
I know. And
we were
then
both working.
I was like, when's the late night season 2? I was like, just waiting for those sponsors, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It was.
Pretty sure that's the whole.
That's always
whole
what the
time.
waiting is.
Mhm.
That's
Really?
what we're waiting on usually. Is the money.
Yeah.
The raising the money is the hard part. Because we can't do the season until we have raised enough money.
Yeah, but like the only reason was just for it to put it on TV.
Mhm.
Well, and it's kind of funny that you say the high stress thing, man, because fast forward to the first episode of season 2, and we were trying to shoot the opening scene of the opening episode of season 2.
20% sure it would work.
Yep, that was 100%.
Oh.
And
Oh, I
I remember
remember this.
Min had to like hold a camera that was connected to a transmitter. For those of you that don't know, a transmitter is something where the camera's filming and then it's projecting to the audience a live feed.
And we'd never used that before.
Yeah, it was our
No.
first time. We had tested it one time here at Trinity Lutheran,
Yeah, it worked.
and it worked. Yeah, and so Min was running that camera, and he was in a crouched position
But it
for
was
the
not
entire
work.
time.
But when we got to the pavilion, it wasn't working as intended.
It was cropped.
It was
really cropped.
compared to when we tested it out here the first time. It was not cropped. So he had a little makeshift like some tape on his
Thanks to
monitor
Siege.
just for the top left corner because for some reason that was the only part that was being streamed. So he has to do this elaborate camera move and like move with his body.
A lot of
And
coordination.
And to
Oh, yeah.
also be framing only for specifically the top left of his camera.
Yes.
So
and
everybody
like
at
think
home
about
could
it in
see.
like 9 segments too, not in like 4.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, we've never even tested this thing out in a live show before, and it's the first segment of an entire season. Like,
Yeah, it was ambitious.
And I remember, like, I mean, obviously, like, you could hear all the audience moving about and stuff while we were still trying to get this thing nailed down. Because, I mean, we pushed rehearsal so late before the show was started because we have a show day rehearsal. And, like, people were coming in and out of the green room trying to get ready. The band guys were moving in and out while we were trying to, like, in the green room film this thing. And it was just so much pressure, and it's kind of thrilling though. You can't do something like this show if you don't kind of like that feeling.
Type 3 fun.
It is.
Yeah.
It
It's
is.
a really high expectation, high bar. Like for that, it's like we wasn't satisfied. At the time, we want to satisfy the audience more than the post production.
Yeah,
because we would have had the shot.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
at the time.
that's what it's always about.
Yeah, it's always
Like that's why at
only
the end
focus
of
on
every show,
post-production.
even if like it goes to crap, I still feel good enough about it because whatever goes to crap usually teaches us something that we have
Yeah.
to change.
Yes. And we have been like raising our bars like slowly, like within reason. Like if you sometimes there's a point where you can get discouraged if you never allow yourself to, you know, you got to give yourself some grace in the progress that you make. But there's the bar keeps going higher and higher because how you do something is how you do everything. And so like even last show, season 1, there were some shows where we would like, sometimes we'd have call sheets, sometimes we wouldn't. Sometimes we'd have show outlines, sometimes we wouldn't. We'd have certain things, but season 2, we were really trying to up everything all the time. It's like
and it looked really professional. Too.
and it
Give an
you can
actual
tell.
schedule to the day.
Yes.
Yeah, like really do it professional.
But so
Yes.
much of that falls on trial and error.
Yeah.
You know,
Agreed.
And you have to do it the hard
it's
way.
like you can learn so much in anything in life, any job. Like you can learn so much about any particular job, any particular skill, but until you actually do and do and do, there's so many things that you just can't. So many nuances that you can't pick up on.
There is nothing like doing the thing.
Yes.
Learning about the thing is not doing the thing.
Right.
Reading about the thing is not doing the thing. Watching the thing is not doing the thing.
And all those other things
Thinking
are
about the
great.
thing is not doing the thing. Doing the thing is doing the thing.
Yes.
And you won't get better until you actually do it.
That's an Instagram reel right there. Boom.
But and on the same side of the coin, if you're not, you know, thinking about the thing and watching about the thing, like I think those sort of that part of it shows whether or not your passion is in it.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
And so I think it's a good sign. Like it's okay if something isn't your passion. Like it's just a good sign, a good determination of whether or not that really is something for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And screwing up, sometimes you screw up hard. Like I remember there's a whole show where we missed the entire audio from the first half of the show because
Actually, you guys can go check this out.
it was yeah, and it
Listen
was
to
no
it.
one on the team or anything. It was one of these other dudes, and there was
One of these other
dudes, and there's no audio because he had just simply forgotten to hit record
Yep.
on the audio thing,
Yep.
and so like
Now at the beginning of every show, we go, cameras rolling, confirm on every camera. Audio rolling, confirm on
Yes.
audio
Really
rolling.
audio.
Yeah.
Be-
Like-
Which, like in hindsight, it's
such
like,
a-
duh, we should have.
Yeah,
but,
obviously.
Like we
There's-
didn't know.
there's
you
so
know?
many things that you don't think
You
about.
just expect someone sometimes, and
Yeah.
sometimes you should just say
Well,
it.
a
Even
lot
if
of
it
things
seems
happened.
obvious.
Yes.
Like a lot of things happening going on.
Like
while,
there are no stupid questions.
Yes.
Yeah, like yeah, exactly. Like it's so easy to get sidetracked and forget
Yeah.
something like
Even
that.
for something as small scale as Late Night Boomin, like in the full entertainment industry sense, Late Night Boomin is a pretty small scale, you know. But
Oh,
even
yeah.
something at this level, I mean, we have a crew of sometimes up to 50, if you really think about it.
yeah.
think
It
so?
can get pretty darn big.
And
Yeah.
and I mean, whether it's the entire band, what all goes into that, the mixing, day of mixing, the talent, the set, the cameras, and it's all these moving
Stage
parts.
crew, camera
Tech crew,
yeah, yeah.
And that's why you need to know how to delegate, and you need to understand that you can't have control over everything.
Yep. And you learn a lot of those by mistakes that things can get overlooked, you know, and that's how you learn. Like you will not be perfect right out of the gate. We had to fail, so we're still failing. We're still having shows where like our most recent show, one of for an entire show, like one of our files got corrupted or something, and now we can't use that camera angle.
Yeah,
It's
you'll just have to have like random problems that you'll just have to overcome, and you have to get used to just dealing with it.
Yes.
And you can't let them bog you down. Because that's just such a constant part of learning.
Yes.
And the better you get at technical stuff, like the easier it is to hide it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly true.
Yes.
Certainly very true.
And fail quickly. That's another thing my uncle always says. He says, fail quickly. If you're going to fail, do it quick so you can move on. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
I like that.
Yeah.
And do you think that it means
I'm
more
writing that
so
down.
like dwelling on, like don't dwell on it, or like the
actually fail quickly. Like if you're going to fail quickly. Like go for it all out. Again, live or die by it 100%. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That means you fail quickly. Instead of going in at 50%, it kind of worked. No,
dragging it on.
Instead of dragging it on, fail quickly. Then you're not waiting on things. Then it doesn't delay you. Then you don't get discouraged. But do it. It works, great. It doesn't, great. You move on. What's next?
Failure also takes a lot of honesty. And
Yes.
it
Self-awareness.
hurts, and it sucks.
Yeah.
And you feel like it's not fair, and you feel like there's so many other external factors. You feel like your internal locus of control is way out of whack.
Yep.
And
Moral compass.
Slick trigger.
Oh, there it was. So
We're back.
God dang it!
Welcome
I
to
really
small
thought we'd
YouTube
escaped
channels
it.
talk.
Slick trigger.
No, there's a saying. I heard a little kid say this somewhere on TikTok. It's not about how the wind blows. It's about how you adjust your sails.
I don't get it.
It's entirely about how you react.
And, you know, sometimes the wind is blowing so hard, you just don't take the boat out. You know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You just go with it.
Sometimes,
Exactly.
you know, at the dock, like the dude that's like taking the dock toll, like it's just kind of sucks, and like you can't get your boat in the water as much as you like try to back up, and you just can't. So you have to like pack it up and just
Go home.
And sometimes you get a hole in your boat.
In a boat,
and,
yeah.
And you drown and you die.
die, and then they can't find your body, and then it becomes a criminal investigation.
Welcome to Daylight Boomin.
Man, who do you think's gonna be at your funeral?
Shoot.
You.
Hopefully, if I have a wife, hopefully she'd be there.
Man, tell us your deepest, darkest sin.
Deepest, darkest sin.
Don't.
Don't. The way you actually started thinking about it. I don't want you to know that deeply about me.
That's good. Well, hopefully you guys can take away something from our ramblings.
Yeah. A surprising amount of motivational and
Yeah.
insightful speak.
And
Hopefully
we like to keep things light around here.
Maybe every episode of Daylight
Man,
Boomin
if you
would
could
be like
murder
this.
anyone in your close personal circle, who would it be?
You could what? Murder?
Personal circle. Personal.
I thought you said Mary. You said
Mary.
murder?
Or Mary?
Right?
Yeah.
I definitely marry my significant other.
Aw.
Uh,
Who's that?
No one yet.
Aw.
Well, if you're watching the podcast,
Min
Min
is
is single
single.
and looking.
So is Jack.
Yeah, so is Jack. He's been in situationships.
At Jack XN.
Yeah,
At
Adam.
minlu.films.
That's right. I'm
Oh, yeah.
taken.
I
See,
would
just take
Me and
definitely.
editor again.
so I want to take this back.
Oh, I was about to say something.
So the day you're born, let's start there.
So man, let's talk, buddy.
Okay, definitely want to go back for the season 2 first episode. Were we working with a new camera crew?
It was
new college.
STI.
Yeah.
Yeah. Southeast Tech.
Yep.
That's right.
Honestly, I was like,
They did pretty good.
they did
too.
really.
Yeah.
Honestly, they did really good.
Our strategy for filming is when we first started filming the show, we were hiring camera company, and they were awesome. They were so great, but
And
it
it
was
looked
also
so
costing
good.
us. It was costing us money,
Also, there's a little bit of miscommunication too.
and so what we had to do was we were like, you know what? There's a better way to go about this. Why
Our
don't
own
we?
camera team.
Why don't we go find a college and
Yeah.
see if they would want to partner with us so their student can get experience, can add stuff to their resume, and we can also, it helps us because we get a film crew out of it. And so
For free.
That's how we met.
Yeah,
Yeah. So actually, that was pretty innovative.
And now, yeah, it's like crazy actually because a random person like Min
Oh yeah.
becomes one of our best friends.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
like becomes such an integral part of season 2 now.
Also,
I mean,
for like, the
we
recording,
went on a whole road trip with Min and his
Oh, yeah.
Honda Pilot. Please
Honda
sponsor.
Pilot.
Honda,
Honda
please
Pilot.
sponsor us.
And like even Patrick, who is the professor
yeah.
over at STI, started coming over and helping us out a lot.
That's
And
Like, we've
Patrick is a beast.
He's a
beast.
legend.
He's-
And
he's
I love
awesome.
being surrounded by people that are so much smarter than me technically.
For real, and you
Because
need to be surrounded by people
I
smarter than
mean,
you.
you can learn so much.
it's crazy because I don't have a bunch of technical capabilities like you two do, and I'm sure a lot of this, since you two are head of tech, like there's gonna be a lot of conversations about that, and I don't know, it's cool, and I hope you guys at home appreciate those around you that know stuff that you don't.
Yeah,
Yes.
and really try to learn more. Like,
Takes being
don't be
humble.
don't be scared to learn.
Yeah.
Like,
don't know,
I know
it's just-
everybody hated school because it was intimidating, but like learning's good for you.
Yeah.
Keeps your brain healthy.
Yes. And an apple a day. And appreciate your loved ones.
Aretha Franklin.
Also,
But it's true. Very true.
like, Siege, weren't you like really busy at like for the pre-recorded segments too?
Yeah, so
I was there for the most of the
for
time.
most of them,
Min's just
yeah,
flexing now.
It's like every season 1 segment, I want to say I was there for, but like at least half, maybe more than half of the season 2 segments.
And we've really
I wasn't
adjusted
able
how we
to.
film stuff too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We used to film everything like traditionally, like on a because we were trying to be like legit, and it was very honorable. But we would like it'd be
Honorable.
like it was honorable
Great way to say
intention,
it.
but it would cause us to sometimes our shoots would take so long, and so
In ways
had
we
to-
ought not thought of.
we ought not.
Yeah.
So our process adapted, and now we do everything with like a 2-cam handheld
Or
wireless lob
sometimes
setup.
And
one.
honestly, if it wasn't for the creation of Succession, it wouldn't even be seen as professional.
like Trey
Curb Your
Ministries.
enthusiasm
Or Curb, yeah.
Yeah.
And
And now we've got it in the bag.
in the
Yeah.
bag. Now,
bag.
now
I
we
would-
can pull up to an intersection and just go.
I think
go.
I think definitely one of my favorite segments for the pre-recorded segment is definitely the Trey Ministries one.
That one was really fun. Was that,
That
just
was-
because you got to hang in that thing at the end?
get to hang
That
out
one-
on
that
it.
did
too, but
look
like,
fun. That did
yeah.
look
but like
fun.
it was like overall stress but fun because this is the first
that
time
was
we
insane.
this is the first time we work with a lot was a large crowd
Yeah.
crowd control.
Well, the idea for the video was we were trying to do one of those corporate one-take shots where it's like a whole bunch of people in a building and like you're going around the building all in one take. And the whole idea for the idea for the video itself was that we keep messing up the one-take shot. And I guess it didn't even cross our minds really that we're gonna mess up the whole
Anyway.
take shot just like
Yeah.
they would. And
Yeah.
like it's gonna take twice as long.
Yeah.
And I remember there's some time constraints. There were some people that needed to use the building when we were trying to film in there
Yeah.
because we were running so late. And that was a very high pressure situation and very overly ambitious. I'm thankful. We got out by the nick of our heels.
Yeah, Nick
Yeah.
Fargas. Yeah.
And I wasn't there for that shoot. So
it's
yeah, I don't
so
know what that
awesome.
was
Yeah.
like.
That would have been clutch if you were there.
A lot of
Yeah, I probably would have.
our kind of one of
Not
our
in
like
that- maybe, I'm sure.
shticks. One of our shticks is like planned failure. Like that. I think that's
Yeah.
something that we find funny for some
Yeah.
reason. It's
Yeah, we
like,
do,
Yeah. Like we
That's
take
the
a
backbone of Boomin'. That's what it's about.
we take a
failed late night
premise.
show.
We take a premise and say, what if this went awfully, and then we write it, and then sometimes we film it and the process is great, and sometimes it actually does go awfully. Like
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
yeah.
But that is the premise.
But sometimes it works when it goes awfully well filming because you can use some of that in the actual footage.
Yeah.
And so that's cool.
It kind of all ends up working.
Yeah.
Because when you're shooting for failure, like succeeding is really failing and failing is really succeeding. So like
Yeah.
either way you win.
Right.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
get it tatted on my breasts.
What are you talking about?
That'd be a good breast
It's
tat.
really don't because it only works in that context. Otherwise, people are gonna think you're really freaking weird. In the context of trying for failure.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, well, I'll
Yeah.
put that as subtitles right above it.
Okay, then
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah.
go for it.
In the context of failure.
In the
Of shooting for
context of
failure.
shooting for failure, when you are attempting
Yeah,
to fail,
just like that.
Then-
It'll be in Comic Sans font.
Love it.
Or maybe
Yep.
papyrus.
Lock it in.
Lock it in.
Live or die by it.
Live or die by it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time that we have for
Yep, we're on
today's
a clock.
podcast.
That's really where we're ending.
Wait,
Yeah,
is
that's
it
gonna be
ending?
where we're ending.
That's not
That's
a good ending. We gotta keep going for a bit.
I'm hungry, man.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
have anything. I
tired,
don't have
man.
anything else. That's
I gotta
it.
poop,
This is-
man. You
this
can
is
keep
gonna be
going.
an
I'm gonna
honest
leave.
show.
Yeah,
Let's do
I
a
got-
post-credit scene where Min's just like keeps talking.
Should we?
That's fun. He's drinking his IVL.
All right.
I wish we get another reveal.
Check us out. Late Night Boomin. Instagram, Facebook,
At
YouTube,
the Breakdancing King.
badaboomcrew.com/shop.
Shop for your merch. Look at that merch C-Joe's got on. You kidding me? Look
Cop
at that.
it.
Check out Anderson
Cop
Visuals.
it.
Check out Minlu Productions.
Check out Badaboom
No,
Studios.
at minlu.films on Instagram.
Yes,
Minlu
that.
Films.
And,
Shameless plug.
follow Late Night Boomin. And
Bada boom. Late Night Boomin. All the socials.
follow us. We're going to be on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
Daylight Boomin.
Daylight Boomin.
Daylight booming.
See you
See you
tonight.
tonight.